The Western Cape region of South Africa is among the world's great floral kingdoms, carpeted with heath and shrubland, coloured by some 9,000 different plant species. More than 60% of these are endemic, such as the otherworldly Clan William cedar, its twisted branches growing leaves that look like scales amid the unusual rock formations of the Bergh Mountains. Just below that range, and beyond the town of Clan William itself, agricultural land stands out for its neatness against this wilderness, green rows of potato plants cutting straight lines across the Olifants River Valley. Standing in one such field at Patrysvlei farm, Ross Bergh, a potato farmer, tells us about his family's history going back to their original settlement of the area in the 1800s.
I am a 8th generation farmer in this area. My family has been here since way back, and farming has been a generational vocation for us. My grandfather and my father were both farmers, as were their fathers and grandfathers. Throughout our family, we've always sought to pass on the land in a better condition to the next generations. Not just direct family, but the community and the ecosystem around us. So sustainability is core to what we do, and that has evolved through the generations, and there's different ways to achieve that now than what my grandfather used.
Ross and his younger brother Thomas represent the 8th generation of Berghs to run farming operations at Patrysvlei, though their father John is still very much involved, and his working life has corresponded to a period of accelerated changes in agriculture.
In my father's time, agriculture went through a major technological boom, starting with synthesized fertilizers and chemicals, irrigation technology, which basically went from furrow irrigation to high-tech, low-flow drip irrigation, and all kinds of monitoring. There's kind of a whole new science that has been developing in terms of regenerative and biological types of farming, and that's basically then going back to how previous generations would have done it.
Today, the Bergh's principles are to manage water and nutrients optimally, to grow cover crops into their rotations, to minimize pesticide use, and instead use biological agents and natural predators to address pest pressure and to basically manage the environment.
My father was at the forefront of that movement and doing the work around that, and we are seeking to continue with those practices.
When it comes to irrigation, the key to the whole process is that the Berghs use a mix of traditional farming methods and high-tech applications. Water is deployed on a climate-driven schedule and according to plant requirements.
We irrigate just what is needed and no more, and also no less. And then we monitor that through probes which are installed in all our fields at various places. And those are linked to an online platform, so you can see at any time exactly what's happening in your fields, and that will give you the irrigation depth you're achieving. We try and irrigate only where we know their roots and not past that, because then we'd be wasting water and leaching nutrients.
The farm also operates off-grid, making use of solar panels and water-powered turbines that help the business keep production costs low and maintain a clear energy footprint, while also ensuring security of supply. All of which, of course, is to serve the quality of the product itself. Some 12 different vegetable crops are grown at Patrysvlei, and 5 different fruits, across this farm beneath the inland mountains and another coastal property with maritime weather conditions.
This region, known as the Sunbelt, can grow potatoes for 12 months of the year, compared to other regions in South Africa which have seasonal growing periods. Our soils are generally more sandy, so we have a good skin finish product.
I have known this family for the last 12 years. They have been supplying potatoes, sweet potatoes, different varieties that is for specific end use. Nicola and Abby, from a salad or a baking, roasting point of view, are really your key varieties. I must say my favorite is Abby. The small fingerling, it does well as a roasting, frying, baking potato. It's got a little bit of a sweet note. The chipping variety would be slightly more earthy, that absorbs oil a lot better.
The sweet potatoes sourced from Patrysvlei are no less a source of pride. The jewel, for example, with its orange flesh and distinctively creamy texture when cooked. And the gem variety with its purple flesh and white skin.
Sweet potatoes we grow from November through March, which is our peak summer months. That's where you're going to get your best results in production.
Looking over the domain, Thomas recalls his childhood on the farm and the question of whether he might have done something else with his life.
You might say that it's in my blood. I did not always plan on being a farmer. I was never encouraged to become a farmer, but through my childhood I observed and was involved in the farming process, and upon reflection it seemed the obvious choice to get involved in the family business.
Today there are many other kids around the farm, the children of workers who may themselves have been with the Berghs for generations. For the brothers and their father, sustainability has also come to mean investment in those people too. They offer not only childcare on their farms, but also formal training to consistently upskill their workforce. And there are sports teams and organized activities during their staff's free time. As to whether the brothers and their father always see things the same way?
We are all very stubborn, but I think we can recognize when one person is right and the other is wrong. So we'll always come round to agreement at the end of the day.
Their common goal and their abiding legacy, says Ross, is a shared sense of stewardship, to pass the land to the next generation in a better condition. The Berghs consider themselves custodians of the land, as opposed to its owners.